guys, it's HMK once again, and I know it, you know it, we all know it. Zelda Wii U, we're waiting for that release this year and more information, hopefully at E3, but when looking at the game, we have to ask ourselves certain questions about the qualities of this anticipated title. And no, I'm not talking about questions about, hey, is it gonna be on the NX or when is the game coming out? No, I'm talking about qualities within the game that we have to ask ourselves about. So, how about let's get into it and ponder about the things we can expect within Zelda Wii U and the questions that we need to ask ourselves and developers on this title. At number 10, we have, will there be sea travel? Now, aside from the Wind Waker, we haven't really had a game where we were on a good amount of land and went out and ventured the waterways, the rivers, the high seas, in a very big, capable fashion. If you want to count Skyward Sword where we used the Time Shift Stone in order to turn the Sand Sea into a real sea, yeah, but I mean, that felt very limiting, especially when you can't go that far into the borders of the sea and the ocean. But if we look at the map from Zelda Wii U, if they haven't changed it at this point, there are various access points to the ocean or an expanded body of water in the game, including rivers and some slight pools and ponds. So, will we have the ability to scour the ocean and travel the high seas in Zelda Wii U? They say it's going to be a big world, and world is land, air, and sea. And before you start asking me about will there be air travel, will you be able to ride a bird and go off into the clouds once again? How about let's finish our dinner before we ask for more dinner? Who will be the main villain? It's number 9. Now we've had those reports that Ganondorf will not return as the main villain in this game. It's up in the air how valid that really is, since it came from a site that is outside of Japan and English-speaking countries, but I would like to see Ganondorf return, but if he's not the main villain, then who is? That's something that's always exciting to see when it comes to a new Zelda title. What will be his or her motives in order to attack this world that we live in? Why would Link need to stop the villain? Who is the villain of Zelda Wii U? What role will the Triforce, will the Triforce play in Zelda Wii U? In each of the games, sometimes the Triforce is the main focus, sometimes the Triforce is downplayed as something not too big of a deal or whatnot, or it's not given a heavy amount of focus. Sure, it's underlined that the Triforce is the end-all object in the Zelda series, that the entire series itself revolves around, and what everybody wants to protect. If the Triforce is returning in this Zelda game, which it should, what role shall it play? Will it once again be seeked by the villains? Will it be guarded by the royal family, and is your job to guard it from all people who want to grab onto it? Or will we learn more about how it works? Or will we see a frightening full extent of its might when used in the hands of a person who knows how to use it, or in the hands of someone who doesn't know how to use it? What role will the Triforce play in Zelda Wii U? How will fast travel work? This game is going to be big. It's going to be huge. To say that there isn't going to be fast travel in this game is a little unsettling. Sure, no, I love to explore as much as this next guy, yeah, but at certain points in the game where I gotta get to point A to point B at a certain time, and I don't want to go through the waves and go through the forest and go through all this, that's what fast travel is for. And fast travel has been an element in all Zelda games, most Zelda games, a lot of Zelda games. We have the warp system in Twilight Princess, we have the ocarina system in Ocarina of Time, where you play a certain song and it goes to certain temples or certain areas, and also we have the drop points and the launch points between the cloud and the surface in Skyward Sword. So, how will the fast travel system work in Zelda Wii U? Going back to what I said on number 10, maybe we'll have a bird this time around, again, a loft wing, something like that, in order to fly the skies and fly to our desired locations in a much faster speed than we do on horses or Epona. Or, this can segue into my next question, which is, Will musical items return in Zelda Wii U? Yes, I hope so, because I miss playing on the ocarina. I miss playing on the ocarina. Sure, the Wind Waker was cool. The Goddess Harp was... What? No. And Twilight Princess didn't even have a true musical item. If you want to count Epona's Call, that's not really a musical item. It's just an item to summon Epona whenever you want. I liked learning different songs and having those songs do different things at certain areas. It's part of the puzzle system that was so cool in the Wind Waker and in Ocarina of Time. Relaying back from my last question, maybe if a musical item were to return, this will help the warp system out. You know, we'll play a song and warp to a certain point in the map. A great callback to prior Zelda games that did this, Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time. I want musical items will return, but that's a question we have to ask if they will return. Though this is a common question, actually the reason why it's number 5 is because it's a common question. And that is, where will this game fit in the timeline? There's been theories all over YouTube, and I've supplied a lot of those. Check them out. There have been a bunch of theories on YouTube on where this game could fit in the Zelda timeline. Will it be in the Unified Timeline, the Child Timeline, the Adult Timeline, or the Downfall Timeline? Or, as one of my theories suggests, will it be part of a new timeline entirely? Because, you know, Skyward Sword... Paradox! I'm watching Nintendo. Where would this game fit in the timeline? A lot of people said right after Skyward Sword. A lot of people said before Skyward Sword. A lot of people said it might be a sequel to Twilight Princess and take place later on in the Child Timeline. You know, thinking about how big Hyrule is and how prosperous it seems in the teasers that we have, I'll have to say it might be either in the Unified Timeline or in the Child Timeline, because for the most part, Hyrule is intact in those two main timelines. But figuring it out is half the fun. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna know before the game gets released or during the game's release. But it's still a question that is on all of our minds. And you're lying if you say it's not. What will plague the world in Zelda Wii U? This is a different question aside from who will be the main villain. The main villain is just a person. The plague is the problem that the heroes, that the land faces, that you need to defeat the bad guy, or whatever the bad guy decides to do to the place. In Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf was in power, we gotta take him out. In Wind Waker, Ganondorf returns and he is looking for certain elements to try and recapture the full pieces of the Triforce. So you gotta take him out. In Skyward Sword, it was Girahim and stealing Zelda and the fact that you have to follow Zelda and protect her in order to stop him from reviving Demise, which will plague the world. No, there's always a problem within Zelda games that you need to fix. And the plague, what will plague the world, is that problem that we need to figure out and what's going to go on in this Zelda title. What will be the issue for you going on your quest? What will be the reason for you to play the game? That is what the plague is all about. Now this next question holds a very special place in my heart. And that is, where will Link come from in Zelda Wii U? That's always a little bit of a mystery in certain games, but in most of the games, we can track Link to a certain part of departure, a certain origin point, if you will. In Ocarina of Time, he came from the Kokiri Forest. In Twilight Princess, he came from Orden Town, Orden Village, Orden whatever. In Skyward Sword, he came from above the clouds in Skyloft. In Wind Waker, he came from Outset Island. I want to know where Link comes from Zelda Wii U, because from what we see, he seems to be very adept already in battle tactics, having a sword, a shield, a hood, a horse, bows and arrows, bomb arrows, those weird glowy arrows. I don't know what that is. I want to know where he comes from. Where did he learn all this? Why is this all important? Because, I mean, Link as an established character, we have to get that piece of lore, and it's something that Zelda fans like to, you know, understand about the person that they're playing as in the game. So, I do want to know where Link comes from, because so far, this is the most interesting Link I have seen in terms of trailers before a Zelda game comes out. Sure, Skyward Sword, Link from Twilight Princess, Link from Wind Waker, yada yada, they all look like, most for the part, standard Links. But this one, he looks very different from other Links in the past, and I want to know where this guy came from and why he knows what he knows and why he looks the way he does. The next one is a spin off the last question, and how Link will rise to hero. In every Zelda game, there is something that the gods do in their horrific, tragic design that pushes Link onto the path of hero in a very tragic way. Sometimes it's the death of a relative. Sometimes it's the kidnapping of a friend. I want to know what will push Link in Zelda Wii U onto the path of hero. Will it be a sense of wonder and exploration that he stumbles upon something he shouldn't have, and now he is bound to the chains of being the savior of the land? What will push him to become a hero? Will someone die? Will someone get kidnapped? Will he get hired? Will it be a sense of inner morality that the spirit of the hero calls to him? Why? What will make this Link the hero that we will play as in Zelda Wii U? And the number one most important question we need to ask about Zelda Wii U, in my opinion, is what will be the key element of the game? And what I mean by that is something that is heavily alluded to in the title of the game, which we do not have. What will be the key element, the key feature, the thing that pushes the story forward, the thing that will help the narrative move along in the chronology of the Legend of Zelda games? What am I talking about? I'm talking about the likes of the Ocarina of Time, the Majora's Mask, the Wind Waker, the Twilight Princess, the Skyward Sword, the Minish Cap, the Oracle of Ages, the Oracle of Seasons. Things like that. Those are the key elements of each individual Zelda game I have named. So, since we don't have a name for Zelda Wii U, what will be the key element to this game? Will it be an item? Will it be a person? Will it be an event that transpired within the game's events or before or after? What will be the key to Zelda Wii U that will help the narrative, that will push the narrative, that will be the narrative of the game? It is a question that we have all asked, and it is a question that we will continue to ask until we have those answers, or at least until the game releases. Because sometimes it is as blatant as an item, the Ocarina of Time, or it is as mysterious as a person, as in Twilight Princess. So guys, what did you think about my top 10 questions we need to ask about Zelda Wii U? There are a bunch more. We all have questions, we all have inquiries about this game, but unfortunately, we don't have the answers at the moment. Hopefully Nintendo will answer a lot, if not all of these questions, very soon. E3 2016, I'm banking on it. So, do you think these questions are important? What was your favorite question in this list? And do you have a question you want to add? Leave your thoughts and your questions in the comment section below. So, until the next Zelda Wii U video, I've been HMK. I'll check you guys later.